Cena MMA back again. Sorry for no uploads for the earlier part of this week, but it is Wednesday as of the time I've recorded this video, and I got a banger. I know this week of UFC is kind of dead, besides the gambling scandal and possible throwing of fights. I still don't know if I'm going to make a video covering that because I don't necessarily want to believe that is true, because it may ruin the entire sport of MMA for me. Nevertheless, we have another low-key underrated Apex card this weekend, but it still doesn't draw huge numbers in the media sector. However, I should have a video talking about that and that card and predictions out either tomorrow or Friday. But today, do I have a good one for y'all. We will be ranking movie characters and TV show characters based on how well they would do in an MMA fight. Now, there's going to be a little stipulations here. First and foremost, I want to say this is going to be mainly for fun. Let's not all take this too serious, even though it is serious to me. Now, let's also think about this for a second. If it is a strict MMA fight, they would not be wearing any suit of any kind, nor would they have any weapons of any kind. This is based solely off their fighting attributes and how well they would transition to MMA. And I'm kind of basing this on a grading curve, in a sense that they're fighting maybe a regional MMA fighter who is very average, maybe a UFC fighter who is very average. There's kind of a grading curve when it comes to this tier list I am making today. Nevertheless, though, I will be explaining my reasonings for ranking these characters where they go. Again, this is based solely off the movie/TV show character, not necessarily off the person, except for a couple, and it's not necessarily based off the person, but they just kind of play the same person in every movie they're in. So to set a precedent, we're going to start with Captain America, and he is S tier. Now, he is S tier because he has the super soldier serum. While he may not be that great at jiu-jitsu, he would get off the bottom very easily, and I think it would be near impossible to take him down. He has fantastic wheel kicks, as we've seen in the Winter Soldier when he fought George St. Pierre. Shout out if you know that. I'm a Marvel nerd a bit. But yeah, dude, he has super soldier serum. I believe if he got a crispy jab going, it would kill his opponent, whether it's Tom Aspinall or Tyson Fury in a boxing match. It is a bit unfair, but I just wanted to set the precedent with an enhanced human such as Captain America. And I'm basing this off the white one because he has the super soldier serum. I don't know. I shouldn't have said it like that. That made me look bad. That's not what I'm basing it off of Steve Rogers. Steve Rogers in the movies, not Anthony Mackie in the last. Actually like him as Captain America. I do, but the movie was horrible. Nevertheless, let's move on. Batman. This is a hard one, but I'm going to go would survive. He's just gotten beat up so many times. This is mainly based off the Christian Bale Batman in the Dark Knight Rises movies, because that's the only Batman I've seen in a movie besides the Robert Pattinson version, but the Dark Knight trilogies may be the best superhero trilogy of all time, and he's one of my favorite movie characters, so I used him, but I believe he would survive. I believe he'd be able to take the damage. And by survive, I meant to say this earlier, I mean like being almost pummeled. Like, not actually they're going to die is death, but like they're on the brink of it. But I believe he would survive. Now, he still could be submitted or knocked out. But I believe Batman is tough enough to not be mangled into nothing. And I believe he has enough training to do so. You could put him in could surprise you, but I don't think he has much wrestling experience. So if him and Islam went up against each other, I believe Islam would ragdoll him. Moving on to Real Steel. And this is the robot Adam. He is S tier and mainly due to the fact he is a giant robot. Now, I don't think he has any grappling credentials whatsoever. However, his boxing is nasty, and he's a very tough robot. And I think it'd be hard for any human MMA fighter to win in any sort of fight against a boxing robot. So he is S tier. He would win every time he fought in an MMA fight. Moving on. This is the best video I've ever made, I think. Moving on to Achilles. Death. I think he would be mangled. He's not that big. He doesn't have any necessarily martial arts skills. He is very good with weaponry. So I believe with no weapons, he is certain to be mangled alive by an MMA fighter around his size. Most definitely. Now, moving on to Liam Neeson's character, I cannot remember his name, in Taken. He would also be mangled in the octagon if he was to step foot in there. His skills are mainly due with like spying. He is a agent of sorts, you could say. Good with guns and tracking people, things like that. No, he doesn't show too many MMA skills in his movies in that character, so I believe he would be mangled. Jackie Chan. Now, he does have martial arts skills. Or, it's not Jackie Chan. I'm sorry. Inspector Lee in Rush Hour, because that's the only movie I've ever seen with Jackie Chan in it. Shows phenomenal martial arts skills. This one's hard. If he's fighting someone his size, also this is based on similar size, he would maybe survive because he is fast and has some crazy kicks and such. I don't think he would get mangled as much as like Achilles or Liam Neeson's character in Taken. So I'm going to put him in the maybe survive tier. But if he's fighting a strong grappler, if he's for sure fighting a strong grappler, I would probably put him in the death tier. But due to the fact he could just be fighting a mainly Muay Thai guy, I think he could survive that and not get damaged too much. Moving on to Johnny Lawrence. I've actually never seen Cobra Kai, but he it's karate, and I've seen clips of Cobra Kai on the. It's one of the cringiest shows you've ever seen in your life if you've watched it. I mean, I've never watched it, but the clips, that's why I will never watch it. It looked awful. But he will die karate, unless it's like real karate, like Wonder Boy or MVP. It's not working in an MMA fight whatsoever. He would be mangled alive. Moving on to Maximus of The Gladiator. I'm going to put him also in the maybe survive tier, only due to the fact that fighting in the Roman Colosseum probably makes you really, really tough. So I think, like, in reality, he should be in the death tier, but he would be so tough that it would look like, you would be like, man, that guy's tough. He wouldn't, like, you wouldn't be like, this guy's just a fool, like the guys in the death tier. Moving on to Jon Snow. Sadly, I will be putting him... Well, actually, I'm going to put him in the maybe survive tier. Due to the fact that the witch, the Lady Melisandre, brought him back to life. So, if she is in his corner, in the octagon, in the apex, the best place to watch UFC fights, you know, in between rounds, she could work her magic, and he would continue to be able to be in there and look somewhat active. So that's what separates him from the death tier. Now, moving on to Steven Seagal. I've never seen a Steven Seagal movie. However, it's all the same crap. And he would be in the death tier. Now, I forget what martial art he exactly practices and is involved in. However, he's very old now. No, but his character, like, it's goofy kung fu type things, and goofy kung fu does no good, so you would be mangled alive. Excuse me. And same thing goes with Chuck Norris. Let's go ahead and get him out of the way. Same thing goes with Chuck Norris. I mean, goofy, like Kung Fu. Some of his movies, he's good with guns and such. But there are no guns allowed in the octagon. So he would, in fact, be dead. Let's move on to an interesting one. I'm gonna put Po from Kung Fu Panda in the competitive tier because there is a chance he gets your finger, and if he gets your finger with the dragon finger hold, and skadooshes you, you will perish. But you could avoid letting him get your finger, so I'm putting him in the competitive tier just because the dragon touch and him skadooshing you is so meta. That the fact if he is able to get your finger, he wins every time. However, I'm not going to put him quite S tier because there is a good chance you could avoid letting him get your finger for sure and getting that good skadoosh on it. So, Poe goes in the competitive tier. Let's add some other ones in here. Rocky Balboa. I'm going to put him in the could surprise you tier, because if he's against a striker, he is a very good boxer, very tough. He could do work on the feet. He could maul some, let's think of a guy he could maul on the feet. I can't think of nobody. Anthony Smith. Now, if he... I think Rocky Balboa has a good chance to beat Anthony Smith. And I'm also going to put Adonis Creed in this tier. Like, look, they're two athletic boxers, very good boxers. If the fight is standing, they can surprise you. And they could do work on the feet. You know what I mean? So they will be in the could surprise you tier. Moving on to Dominic Toretto. I would normally put him in the death tier. But considering if there is family involved in the fight, if he's like fighting Connor and he brings up his family, I'm gonna put him in the could surprise you tier, because if family is involved, he could surprise you. But in reality, death. He's just a brute, no real fighting skills demonstrated whatsoever. Good at driving, though. Very good at driving. John Wick, I'm going to put him in the would survive tier because he does show some competency in martial arts in the John Wick movies, some goated movies. So I think he would survive considering all the things he's been through and still hasn't died yet. I know he kind of died in John Wick 4, but he also kind of didn't. So he's very good at not dying, so I would put him in the would survive tier based on that. Again, I'm not actually saying they would die necessarily, but, close to it, getting mollywopped. I had to put Mike Ehrmantraut on here twice. Water. Because he's so amazing, and he's obviously S tier. Now, look, I know he's old, and kind of frail, but he's gonna do work. His cardio's not that bad. No, I'm just kidding. I'm gonna put him in the maybe survive tier. I would trust Mike to survive better than any of the guys I put below him. Just due to the fact he's so old and took so much beating in Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul that I think he, kind of the same deal with the guys in the same tier as him. You'd be like, man, that's a tough son of a gun. Oh yeah, let's put him in there twice. Frank Dukes from Bloodsport. Now, I know that's an old movie. It's one of my favorites. Classic. If you haven't watched Bloodsport, go watch it. It's based off a real guy named Frank Dukes who actually lied about the entire story of the movie and everything about his life and martial arts, really. However, I'm going to put him in the could surprise you tier because he is a martial artist, very strong, very athletic, and he killed a man in the Kumite. This, again, based off the movie character, he did kill a man in the Kumite. So, his grappling skills may not be the best, but he does have the ability to snap your neck. Um, as he demonstrated against, believe his Kung Lee was his name, something like that. I believe it's Kung Lee. I haven't seen the movie in a while. I actually want to watch it now. Moving on to Jason Bourne. Again, he's in here with Liam Neeson's character in Taken. He's an agent. He's on the run. Very smart, but doesn't demonstrate really any martial arts skills. And if he's locked in a cage with a MMA fighter, he will get mollywopped again. So, Ethan Hunt, Mission Impossible, great movies. I very much enjoy them. I'm gonna put him in the would survive tier because he for sure, like, again, kind of with John Wick, like, you can't kill the guy. So I would rank him above the guys in the tier below him for sure. Uh, uh um uh, Tyler Durden. Spoiler warning, if you haven't seen Fight Club, these are the same people. Edward Norton's character, I forget his real name, has schizophrenia, so it's actually just the same person. It's not actually two people. He can take a beating like no other. So I'm going to put him in the would survive because I think he'd be able to take the beating like a champ. So that's the video, guys. Let me know what y'all think about this tier list and what y'all would change about it. I think this is very accurate to the characters and how they would do in an MMA fight. I think this is very conducing to that topic. And this is real things, cuz yeah. Let me know what y'all think about this type of goofball video. I may do some more of these type of things. Maybe we could do a part 2, drop some movie/TV show characters you'd maybe like to see in another video like this. Drop them in the comments below. Go ahead and hit the thumbs up button for me. That helps me out a lot, and I'd really appreciate it if you did. Please subscribe to me, Cino MMA. This is the first video I've made like this. I'm usually actually talking about the UFC and MMA, like hardcore. So if you like that kind of thing, go ahead and check out some of my other videos. I think I've done actually some pretty good videos for not doing YouTube too long, and with my recording setup. So yeah, guys, let me know what y'all think about my ranking. Please like and subscribe. Drop a comment of what you think about this and some other characters you'd like to see maybe in another video. Thank you if you've watched the video all the way through. God bless you. May God be with you. Jesus loves you. Jesus is Lord. I love you. Y'all have a good one.